Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, peaklings, earthlings, everywhere, including Meghan and Harry, who may or may not watch these videos. Thank you very much to Blair, Duchess of Sussex, for having me up as a guest last night at the end of her live. It was good to let off some steam because everybody's got their breaking point, haven't they? But the substance of this video, talking of breaking points, I'm going to defend Thomas Markle Jr, who has a YouTube channel here. I'll put a link in the description. And I feel that the Markle family as a whole, whatever anybody thinks of them, have been treated horribly. Horribly. And I think they've actually been very measured. Now, the way I see them as characters is that Thomas Sr. has had serious health issues. He never did anything to deserve being treated and excluded and excommunicated so publicly like the bad fairy by his daughter. I think that's despicable. His eldest daughter, Samantha, I think is probably the most measured. She's very careful how she speaks. She's very fair to her sister, despite also being excommunicated and smeared horribly all over Oprah, etc. Omid Scobie. And then her younger brother, Thomas Markle Jr. And that's what this video is about. Now, I subscribe to his channel. I don't watch all of his videos because he generally does lives. And I do watch lives, but lives, as we all know, tend to go on longer. Now, I subscribe to so many channels, I don't have time to watch all of the channels, but I do enjoy his content. And obviously people want to talk to him because they want to know a bit more about this person who has married into the British royal family, and there seems to have been an explosion of catastrophe, which, by the way, I think he did write a letter warning the royal family this was going to be a disaster. Who knew? Well, apparently he did. I remember the Markle family being vilified in the Daily Mail comments by a lot of people who felt that it was, they said it's tacky, it's crass, we don't like this, we don't like that. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I feel that, especially reading the Daily Mail comments, when I can open them, by the way, Daily Mail, the format is just horrible. It's horrible. Change it. Make it easier. It still takes forever to load. But the comments these days are generally in favour of the Markle family. But they've had to tolerate, 5-6 years of abuse to earn their place. Now, Thomas Markle Jr, amongst other things, does skits. He does parodies. He's got a character called Chick Magnet. He does parodies of his sister. My personal favourite was the one he did of Omid Scobie when the eyebrows fell off. That one, that's along with my Morris Dancer videos. And sorry if there's any more, bad Morris Dancers. And there's a guy who does a skit of Alec Baldwin, which is hilarious. And I look at these things on dark days. And I go to Getty Images if I want a really good laugh and look at Birkenhead. Anyway, so he does parody. And I see that the Daily Mirror has done a bit of a hit piece on him today. They have quoted royal correspondent Jenny Bond and her disapproving comments of his channel. Now, Jenny Bond is a very ladylike, very polite person, comes across, if she watches this, she may, her name will be in the tags, but she's a little bit too of that. Come on, Jenny, you've been a royal correspondent, and back in the olden days, I and a lot of other people would listen to what various royal correspondents had to say to see, if we could glean something more. And I started watching YouTubers because what the royal correspondents come out with is just so sycophantic, boring, banal. It's a load of nothing, a load of nothingness. So I suppose YouTube doesn't, maybe Jenny should get a YouTube channel. she might find she'd become a lot more outspoken and perhaps a little less sycophantic. I'm not trying to insult the lady. Now the Mirror, right? Mirror Group, phone hacking, Harry's lawsuit. So a lot of people might not realise that what I have noticed is that the Mirror do a lot of favourable articles for Meghan and Harry, especially when they want to put out a certain narrative. They're one of the favoured go-to ones, despite the lawsuit. Because I think people think newspapers are completely tribal, like they will only ever support a certain thing, or they will only ever do this. But it does depend. It's much more complicated. The Daily Mirror is, generally speaking, a left-wing, traditionally it would have been a working man and working woman's newspaper, that kind of thing. They, I suppose, being left-wing, do want done away with the monarchy, but for one of the left-wing papers in the UK, they do embrace royal correspondence. They've got Russell Myers, and they've realised that there are monarchists who are left-wing. So they are out to take down Thomas Markle Jr.'s YouTube channel with this hit piece. Very akin to back in the day when Ellie Hall and Christopher Boozy and Omid Scobie went after Yankee Wally. That's what it reminds me of. We have asked YouTube for comment. These social media platforms have a responsibility. Now, I can't remember if Jenny said that or some other dude in the Mirror. That Meghan fights for online safety and kindness and compassionateness and kindfulness. Yeah, right, okay. Take a look at the sugars. Take a look at the hit piece. Take a look at Boozy's tweets, right? This dude, when they complain he's monetized. He's monetized. Harry and Meghan don't monetize the royal family. No, they've never done that. No, of course not. They dumped their titles, didn't they? They said, never again mention Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Oh no, hang on. No, they didn't, did they? Oh, silly me. I really am, quite fed up, and it's come to the point where even parody, it would seem, is illegal. Is it, Ms. Bond and the Mirror? Really? We get to that point because you know what parody is? Parody initially is something to make people laugh, but it's a form of expression. And it can be a form of expression that can be used to release tension, anger, injustice. And I feel Thomas Markle Jr. does that. Now, it may not be to everybody's taste. Ask Ricky Gervais. Things aren't always funny if they're going to be PC and they're not going to upset or harm or make anybody cry. God's sake, is that the society we're going to live in? Where has all this hatred come from? Why does Thomas Markle Jr. feel that his only release and form of expression to get his voice out there is YouTube? Oh, I don't know, maybe he gets misquoted by mainstream legacy media, which, by the way, is a dinosaur. I mean, talk about one-dimensional, flat, boring newspaper articles of all newspapers, my God. Human beings are multifaceted. The reason YouTube is popular is because the viewer can see, hear, voice, facial expression, context, connotations. It's not just some flat 200-word hit piece in a prehistoric newspaper. Now, get with the vibe, guys. I mean, it really is a hit piece. I'll put a link in the description to that one as well. Sugars, if you go to my X account, AvidGardener8, hey, anyone at the Mirror, Jenny Bond, you'll see at the top pinned a death threat to me and my husband from a sugar, a lover of Meghan's kindfulness, mindfulness, where they want to put a bullet in mine and Graham's heads. I don't think I've ever heard Thomas Markle Jr. say anything that outrageous. Yesterday I did a video about the polo thing, and all that whatnot was going on there. And I did genuinely like the halter neck. And I said, Meghan looks nice, but oh no, my video restricted. That's not good enough. I get Sugars saying to me that I deserve the trolling of my husband. Oh, he didn't have cancer. He's having a liver transplant. All kinds of lies. I'm on the run. I'm running into the smuggling ring. Along with a load of other threats and bullshit. Oh, I'm responsible. If there's any troll on the internet, it's me. It's me. It's me. Apparently I'm called Fungus as well. Not that that bothers me. Had a look at any of that, Jenny. Familiarise yourself. Do you want to talk to Camilla Tominey and ask her of the trolling that she's had? When did all this hatred and toxicity start? Well, let's see if we can pin that down. I don't know. When could that have been? I don't know. I reckon it was about circa 2018. Probably about the same time that rumours came out that Kate was made to cry, little Princess Charlotte was shouted at, that palace staff were not happy, whacking, that there were allegations of bullying, all sorts of toxicity, that a certain little Omid Scobie with his poison pen wrote certain books which named certain members of the royal family. Oh, accidentally, on purpose, whoopsie doodle, that the henchman Christopher Boozy came along, trolling, attacking, doxing and having a go at everybody. Now, why could all that have been, Jenny? What brought all that on, and how must it feel to be a member of the Markle family? Having the shit kicked out of them on a daily basis by trolls, Sugars and legacy media. And if you don't mind me saying so, ladies such as yourself, if you find it distasteful that Thomas Markle Jr. puts a black wig on to do a parody of his sister, well, for God's sake, wrap yourself up in a duvet and never leave the house. If that's the most shocking thing you've ever seen, Jenny. Anyway, that's probably just about enough from me. I think I get the impression it's not just me and other YouTubers. I get the impression that many citizens of planet Earth are right royally sick and fucking tired to the back fucking teeth of the Sugars and this hatred campaign, which may or may not have been started by Sunshine Sacks and Meghan Markle herself. There you go. I've said it. Thank you very much for listening.